All right, stretching routine now. Got my little nifty bag there. I actually took this video in the park and I didn't really have a yoga mat because I didn't think about it. So, first stretch here, basic runner stretch. Could also be called a couch stretch, depending on where you do this. Very easy to do. You basically want to be stepping forward, flexing your glute, and leaning forward. Dude, when I first started doing this, my foot easily touches my glute now and I'm pretty flexible. When I first started doing this, it was a struggle, man. I couldn't get both hands back like I do now. It just takes time. Lean into it. This is really easy to do, if you put your foot on a couch and just stand there. Because you could essentially stand there for 3 minutes or so and just get this stretch going. This works your quad, this works your hip flexors, this works your core. So I would say at least a minute and a half on each side. At least a minute and a half. I obviously didn't do that long in this video just for the sake of the video length, but you can get away with at least a minute and a half on each side for this. This is an essential one for quad stiffness. Hip flexor stiffness is a huge problem nowadays, especially in our modern culture when we're sitting all day. So this is why this is a good idea. So literally just hold this out. If you can't go far enough, or if this is too easy, what you would do is you would lean more forward, almost like you're doing like a warrior one pose in yoga, which I do. Well, I do a crescent pose in this video, but first off, okay, hip flexors, quads. Next, basic hamstring stretches, everybody. Basic, really basic. The only time I was ever able to really touch my toes in life was when I did Taekwondo frequently, and I developed pretty crazy hamstring flexibility. But now that I sit all day and I run a lot and I bike a lot, my hamstrings are always tight. So I get into these a lot, but they're always tight. It really doesn't matter to an extent how much I do this. I'm always going to be stiff to some point, but it always helps to just get into a basic hamstring stretch. Flex your foot and your foot comes up, right? And you're leaning at the hip. So you'll see sometimes when I'm doing it, I'll put my hands to my side and then I'll lean forward. See how my hands are down by my side here? It's not about reaching necessarily. It's not about reaching to touch your foot. I mean, you can get to that point if you're super flexible, but you just want your toe to be flexed and you want to be leaning forward at the hip. Okay? Same thing with a butterfly stretch. I don't do that for this, but a butterfly stretch is the same concept. You want to be leaning at the hip. You don't want to be crunching forward with your back, putting stress on your vertebrae. Okay, the next one that I do, this is a glute stretch. Okay, this one you really feel it in your piriformis and your glute. Okay, so it's on the side of your butt. So leg over. I can't lean all the way back here because I have this bag and there's a shit ton of ants on the ground. Leaning back, all right, pulling it in. You could reach through your legs like I do. You could advance this, put your right leg up straight if you're really flexible and then pull in, you get more of a pull. If you can get to the point where you can get your foot on your head, that's phenomenal, okay? And also, guys, this is mobility work. So if you're already flexible, you don't really have to spend a lot of time doing this stuff. You could develop flexibility. You're born with a baseline of flexibility, but you could always work hard and develop it. You just have to get through that pain point of stretching, okay? At least a minute with these things. You want that Golgi apparatus in your muscle. You want that to activate that spindle, which relaxes and allows for tension. It takes about 30 to 45 seconds. So a minute each time holding these things, people. Same thing on this side. I would put my head back to the ground, see I'm looking, but I can't because there's mad ants on the ground. Oh, there we go. And I have my exercise bag. So, I hope everybody likes my Shih Tzu socks. I gotta support my dog, Anna. Got these with the Winter Village event in Bryant Park in New York, and I saw this dog stand. So next one, basic quad stretch. Okay, foot, knees close to each other. Don't flare out. Okay, and you're flexing your butt and you're keeping your legs straight down. See, you could pull up and then flex your quad past 90 degrees. You don't want to do that. You want to keep it straight like that and flex it up. Hold it, feel it. If this is too easy, you want to get a strap and lay down on your stomach and pull with the strap, okay? Getting on the ground is an easier way to make this tougher, and it also takes out the chance of cheating. Okay, next thing here, I do downward dog. So this is for my ankles. Guys, ankle immobility is a huge problem nowadays. It's people think that they can't squat low because their hips are tight. They can't squat low because their ankles are tight. So this is a basic downward dog that works your hamstrings and your ankles, and it's also good for your shoulders. So what I'll do is I'll pedal it out a little bit, working both of them, but I'll maintain this position for a while. Basic yoga stance, and if you could work your way up to where your heels are touching the ground, I mean, you're in good shape for longevity. So I'll swing it through, and I'll do if I put my arms overhead, it's a crescent pose, but I'm just holding this just to get a flex on that left hip now. See how I open it up for a second? Sometimes I get a little pop there, but this is a strict psoas stretch, all right? The most chronically tight muscle of the modern American, all right? The psoas. So flexing up, deep stretch. Like I could feel this all the way from almost at my knee, all the way up my vertebrae. So then I'll rotate down, get another downward dog going, just to keep the cycle going, the flow. All right, and you guys could just Google beginner yoga. I would recommend Yoga with Adriene. I mean, she's phenomenal. She's just a yogi who makes a living making YouTube videos doing yoga, and she's inspirational and she's in great shape. It's fantastic. Then I go to the other side. Straight flexing. I never understood why people stretch until I started doing it. I had this weird pain in my hips. I had this weird tightness. It all went away, guys, when I started stretching regularly. My body feels so much better. Mobility is a big determiner of mortality. And you know what else is? Grip strength. Weird, right? I think it just means if you have more muscle mass, you have a stronger grip, and more muscle mass is muscles like a armor for aging. But I feel phenomenal now that I stretch regularly. So that's basically it. I might add in a butterfly stretch or a frog stretch here and there. I don't really do pigeon that much because pigeon is going to tighten your TFL, okay? And you don't want to tighten your TFL. You want to loosen your TFL when you're doing stretches, especially for your RT band, because that's what I label this. So you don't want to be doing stuff that's tightening that. Anything that's sort of flexing forward, you're sort of tightening that tensor fasciae lata, which is a string that inserts in your RT band. But that's my basic stretching with you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to post more exercise videos on here because that is my basis. My basis is fitness. And yeah, have a great day.